Hello art students, this is Mrs. Brand here. Today I'm going to show you how to create the website header for your portfolio website. Your header will look something like the example that Miss Whetstone and I have created, and this will be used for the top portion of each page of your website that we're going to be making this week. So the first thing I'm going to need you to do is open up the website header template that's been shared with you in the Google Classroom assignment. When you open up this template, you'll notice that it is set to be a specific size, and this is the size that we need for the websites that we're going to be creating. Another thing that you'll notice is that there's some information on the side that shows what needs to be included in the website header. So you want to make sure that you're considering colors that represent your personal style or brand. You want to have a background, and that can be in the form of a photograph, a gradient, or a solid color. And you also need to include a font that appeals to your personal style or brand. You can use the website we used in the past called Font Generator, or you can insert word art directly from Google Drawings. The first thing I want you to do when you open up the template is go to View, Guides, Show Guides. We've included these guides on here so that when you're creating your headers, you'll know what area the text should stay in so that this website header is able to be viewed on multiple platforms, such as a cell phone, an iPad, or a computer. The next step is to decide what your background's going to be. In order to create a background, you need to hold down the Alt key on your keyboard and then click, and then you'll click on the background option. You'll notice that you have the option to do a solid background or a gradient. Solid is pretty simple. You just select a color that you like, a color that fits with your personality, and then it'll fill completely with that color. I think I'm going to first try a gradient though. I'm going to do a custom gradient where I'm going to add a couple different points along this color scale. And since my favorite color is blue, I think I want to select a light blue. And then I'll let it go a little darker, a little darker yet, and then I'll pick the darkest blue. So let me just check that. Okay, so I like this gradient of blues. I set it for linear. You can also try radial and see which one you like better. So here's one possible background. I also think I want to include a photograph that I've taken, possibly instead, like the example that I've already made. So if I'm going to do that, I can click on the Insert Image icon, and then I can upload this image from my computer. Now when I do this, you'll notice that the image that I've chosen is much smaller than the background itself, than the template. So I'm going to grab one of the corners so that I can keep the proportions accurate, and I'm going to stretch it so that it fills from side to side. Now I notice that the top and bottom are a little bit too large, so I'm going to double click, and I'm going to get my cropping tool, and I'm going to bring down the top so that it meets the guide, and bring up the bottom so that it meets the guide that's been included on your template. Then I can even bring the image up a little bit. So I think I'm going to try for this photograph as my background. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add the text for my homepage. For your homepage, you want people to know that this is your portfolio, so your text should include your name. I'm going to use WordArt, the WordArt function that's here in Google Drawings, and the first thing I'm going to do is type my first name, and then I'll say enter. The way WordArt works is that it will use whatever font you have selected here, and I'm going to try Pacifico, and then it gives you the ability to add a solid fill or a gradient fill, and then also to add a border color. So I think I'm going to go for that purple's a little bit too bright for me, so I'm going to go for a custom purple, and I'm going to make it a little bit lighter. And then I think I want my border to be black, but I'll double that. Okay, now I need to insert more word art for my last name. And again, I will have to change to the font style that I like. And then I'm going to use the guides to center this text. Now, I think I want to make it a little bit smaller so that it fits within the inside guide, so I'm going to shift click. So now I have both items of text selected, and then I'm going to hold down the shift key while I drag the corner so that the proportions of the text stays the same. And then I'm going to center it by lining up these dots that are on the top, bottom, left, and right with the guides that are already there. So this looks pretty good, but I think I also want to try the drop shadow feature. So I'm going to click and then shift click on the other text, and I'm going to say Format Options, Drop Shadow. This time I want to make my drop shadow a different color, perhaps blue, and then I'll change the distance a bit. Okay, I think this looks pretty good. Now that I'm finished with my header, I think what I want to do now is look to see if I like the photograph as the background or if I like the gradient as the background. So I'm going to just drag the photo out of the way for a second, and I'm going to take a look at it with the gradient. I think I still like the photograph better, so I'll put that back. Okay, so now what I need to do, the last step, is to share this with my teacher. And then when I say send, the teacher will get email notification so that they know that I am finished with my website header. All right, thanks for watching.